all guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to the newest episode of the Noobs and Knockouts podcast, available on YouTube, on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. I'm Austin. I'm a knockout, watched a lot of wrestling.
I'm David. I'm a noob. Haven't watched nearly as much wrestling, and I just came back from the hospital. Sandman's gonna be okay, you guys.
Well, actually,
Oh no.
story. We'll get to it.
Oh no. Oh no. All right. So first note of the night: Sandman is not okay, you guys.
No, okay. So we are back in ECW 1994, continuing our arc through Sandman versus Tommy Dreamer. Last time we were here, Tommy Dreamer, during an I Quit match, accidentally knocked the Sandman's cigarette into his eye, causing the Sandman's eye to get burned. And so he had to go to the hospital, and they were unsure of his condition.
Yeah. Again, I thought for sure that it was going to be our boy Dreamer in the hospital and it was going to be so epic that he took it to the extreme. But no, not only was it like Dreamer got his ultimate revenge on the Sandman by burning his eye out, it was also, as played in kayfabe, completely on accident, which, thinking about it later, I was kind of like, I feel like that flies in the face a little bit of the extremeness here. Like, I keep making this point. For as much as ECW is currently posturing itself as we are extreme, they sure hand wring about a lot of shit. And
Inconsistent about what they hand
was
wring
very
about.
concerned about. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. But it's okay. It's okay. It's the Extreme Company. You can. It's fine.
It's the same company that's currently talking up how tough and awesome Sabu is because his ribs are fucked, but he keeps wrestling anyway because he's crazy. He's suicidal, homicidal, and genocidal.
Yeah, which I guess is a big thing to market yourself on. I don't know why you'd want to be proud of being genocidal, but okay.
Yeah. So this episode is the follow-up to the Sandman's injury. And in fact, this is our first pay-per-view episode of this arc. We've otherwise just been watching ECW Hardcore TV. Well, pay-per-view. ECW didn't get on pay-per-view for real until 1997. But, you know, this is functionally what that is.
Wait, what's the difference?
For them, they just like tape these shows and then release them on VHS.
Oh, so it's pay to buy the VHS.
Yeah, it's essentially a pay-per-view, but they weren't on pay-per-view because they were a rinky-dink wrestling company at the time.
Yeah, indie little nothing. So PPVHS, got it.
Yeah, PPVHS. Specifically, November to Remember, one of their bigger name events. In the build-up to this, they actually talked a ton about the original November to Remember show in '93 and how all these wrestlers made names of themselves, like the Public Enemy and the Sandman, on this show. So what's going to happen tonight?
Was that like their first ever show?
Yeah. But it was one of their earlier shows under the ECW name.
I see. And was it like these people? Was it these people like debuting or having really specifically cool bouncers that just them talking shit up?
I mean, it was relatively big name. Like it was like at that time where like older, more established NWA guys were still working ECW at the time.
Oh,
so these new guys beating the old guys was be like, hey,
these
guys
cool.
beat a name you knew.
That's cool. Okay, that's actually pretty dope. All right, carry on.
And they did a whole advertisement where they took the music video for Guns N' Roses' November Rain and just spliced in ECW highlights.
As you do, because ECW does not give a fuck about copyright.
No, they don't. It was pretty dope, though.
Dude, no, seriously. If copyright weren't a thing, wrestling could make itself even more fucking dope by just taking all this like already licensed shit and just splicing themselves over it.
Yeah,
like
using popular music to get wrestling over, a weird concept that could never work.
Like, it's dope when you do get original shit and you can get some fun stuff. I will always be here for instead of having any pre-existing music, the Dynamite intro screams at us, it's the show we've all been waiting on. And I love getting to hear Mikey Ruckus scream directly in my ear that it's all about the boom. However, man, sometimes when you can Leo point meme at a song, it just amps you up a little bit, you know. So no shot there.
Of course. So we are going to go down this card of this show. If you've never watch one of our pay-per-view shows, we do not ever have the time to just watch a full 3-hour show. It helped. November to Remember is only 2.5 hours, so I didn't have to cut down as much.
Yay.
But we pared this down to a 2-hour cut of the most important bits. But I will run down the card and tell you what we are and are not watching. So the first match of the show, Hack Myers versus JT Smith. We're not watching it. It has no story.
Yay!
The next match of the show is the Bad Breed versus the Pitbulls. It has no story, but we're gonna watch it because I wanted to watch the Pitbulls kick ass, actually.
Okay.
And I had time. We had time, so especially because of the thing at the end of the show.
Oh.
We had time to do that. We had time to fit this in. All right, time for us to get to some story shit. Mr. Hughes versus 2 Cold Scorpio. All right, this one is weird because it was supposed to be 2 Cold Scorpio versus Born Again, Matt Bourne.
Yes.
And Matt Bourne is gone from the company.
Really? Wait.
It's already gone.
Wait, why?
Matt Bourne alleges that he had a chance to do a European tour and then he left to do that with Paul Heyman's blessing, and then Paul Heyman never called him back a month later.
Jesus. Okay.
Other sources suggest it's because Matt Bourne at this time was having a lot of drug problems.
Oh no.
He got fired from WWE for a lot of that reason too. And
wait, it wasn't just the "you're not on board with us" turning doink face.
Yes,
shit.
it was also drug addiction issues.
Well, that feels like that. I feel like I'm aping a bit you said recently, but that feels a lot like the Al Capone getting arrested on tax fraud of getting kicked out of the WWE.
Yeah. And so there are rumors that it was also drug problems with ECW that made him unreliable and got him cut. And it's a damn fucking shame because honestly, I was getting into what he was doing a little bit. So what he was doing with the Matt Bourne Born Again character is that when he wrestled matches, including he wrestled 2 Cold Scorpio, after he beat 2 Cold Scorpio, well, he got like DQ'd, hitting him with a chair or some shit. He took the Doink the Clown mask and put it on 2 Cold Scorpio, and he would do this with every opponent he beat. He would put the clown mask on them. And he manifesto posted in a promo about how
we live in a society
so fucked up that like his time as Doink the Clown broke him. And he needs everybody else to feel his pain and humiliation of being dressed like a clown. So he is going to make everyone else feel his pain.
So literally, it's "we live in a society" Joker posting.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh my fucking God. Heath Ledger could never.
Yeah, that's where Heath Ledger got the inspiration for this performance. Yeah. Matt Bourne.
Heath Ledger, big Doink the Clown guy.
Absolutely. And 2 Cold Scorpio was just like, man, this fucking weird, man. You're fucking weird. You're fucking crazy, dude. But all right, if you want to,
like, he would be the type to like be parlay to that.
He's like, you're kind of crazy, dude. But I guess if you want to fight, I'll kick your ass.
And
and
it was gonna be the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was gonna be on November to Remember. It was gonna be Matt Bourne versus 2 Cold Scorpio, but he's gone. So now 2 Cold's gonna fight Mr. Hughes.
And do they have any reason they put in for shoehorning Mr. Hughes
because Hughes and Bourne are both under the employ of Shane Douglas.
Yes. So Hughes still is with Douglas.
Yeah, Hughes. Douglas now has Hughes and Bourne. Well, he did. Now it's just Hughes again.
Well, maybe Hughes just went on vacation. That's why he disappeared for a second.
Yeah, it was weird. All right, I'm gonna save the Tommy Dreamer match and the Sandman stuff for last.
Fair enough.
So but that is the fourth match of the show.
Okay.
The next up is Dean Malenko and the Tasmaniac. It's basically a continuation of where we've been for them. We've already talked about it. Is Dean Malenko is the shooter who's there to help Jason keep his title that he is now serenading with love songs on
Yeah,
air.
I was at work today and I didn't really get a chance to look at any of the shit you sent me. My apologies, but I
Sure.
did see something about serenading the title, and I was
Yeah,
like, huh.
Jason cut a promo where he's like whispering in bed, laying in bed and whispering to his TV title belt while his promos are playing on like the CRTV up
Jason
top.
is an egomaniacal nutbag.
And he then I didn't catch what song he sang, but he literally sang a love song to his title belt and then explained that he is known as ECW's most eligible bachelor.
Of
But he
course.
wants to let all the persons out there know that they will only be second fiddle, his mistress, in comparison to his title.
Jason really said polyamory and one of the partners is a title belt.
Yep.
Amazing.
So he's fucking that title.
Hierarchical polyamory too. Fucking cringe. Okay.
And so Dean Malenko is there to help him keep that title. And the Tasmaniac doesn't appreciate Dean Malenko, brutta. So they're going to have their match.
Okay. Yeah, I look, I'm always here for more Taz. Let's and I would love to see the egomaniacal nutbag Jason get beat up a little bit. So hell yeah.
Yeah. And so next up is Shane Douglas defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Ron Simmons. You've seen him on this show as Farouk.
Farouk!
Yeah, he is. Before before he came to the WWE and got a goofy gladiator gimmick and they called him Farouk. He just went by his real name, Ron Simmons. And
cool.
At this point in time, he's an ex WCW. I think he was WCW champion by this point. Ron Simmons, I think, has the distinction of being like the very first African American NWA champion.
I think
that is
that before.
It was either he's the first black WCW champion or the first black NWA champion. I don't remember which specifically he gets to claim for that. But basically, he's out of WCW by this point, and so Shane Douglas is doing his usual shit, and he's happy to beat an ex-football player, ex-WCW guy.
Wait, he was also an ex-football player?
Yeah, he played football. He was All-American for Florida State.
Oh, damn, Farouk. Farouk's got some talent. Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, so Shane Douglas is always happy to kick some ex-WCW guys' ass so he can keep talking about how this is the real professional wrestling company in this sport today, not some cartoon.
I sure hope Ron is ready to become an effigy in Shane Douglas's mind for fucking Ric Flair. Oh boy.
Yeah, because Ric Flair still has not accepted his challenge to do a shoot fight at Disney World.
Wow, what an absolute shot. I have no idea what the kayfabe on that is. And with someone like Shane Douglas, I don't know if I'll ever really be able to tell what the kayfabe on that is. Because I could see him like doing it as a meme. I could also kind of see him meaning it, especially since it's the same guy who did like
I think on some level he meant it.
Oh, of course.
I think he was very bitter about, in his mind, Ric Flair was a big reason why he failed out of WCW, and so I think he never let that go.
Wait, he blamed Flair for failing out of WCW?
Yeah, he alleges that Ric Flair politicked to basically bury Shane Douglas.
Why? Okay, whatever.
You know, that's his story about it, and I think that says a lot. But they've not interacted on TV. Ron Simmons showed up to save to confront him like at a house show, but it was not on hardcore TV that I saw. So
Okay. Well,
They just announced
early
that this is the.
ECW gonna early ECW.
They just announced that that's going to be that's going to be the match.
All right.
At
Well,
the
let's
pay-
do it. Why not?
Next match up, the Public Enemy versus Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck for the tag team championships. And I
Yes.
gotta say, this is the worst 2 nickels moment in the history of this show for me.
Why?
Because if I had a nickel for every time I had to sit through a fucking brawl game match, that's the one where if you knock your opponent down for a 10 count, you can use a baseball bat.
Oh, this.
I would have 2 nickels because
Yikes.
that's this tag title match is a brawl game match.
No, god damn it.
Yeah.
God, why?
Because they made this the signature match of the Public Enemy.
So good to know that I never have to take the Public Enemy fucking seriously ever.
Damn,
That's a shame too. This matchup got me a hype, especially with Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck teaming together. What the hell? That's so dope.
Yeah, so we don't really hear from Jack and Whipwreck on this series of episodes. In the month of episodes it's been since we last were here. But the Public Enemy, of course, cut a promo every goddamn show. But basically, we do get a little more backstory on the Public Enemy of them basically talking about how they grew up on the streets and how when they got out of prison, they were dropped off in front of the ECW arena. And that's when they decided to become wrestlers. And basically, they have tied their self-worth and success as wrestlers to being tag team champions. And now that they're not having them, they're basically going crazy.
Oh boy, that's a lot to unpack. Oh no.
They're just obsessed with beating people with baseball bats until they get those titles back.
Yeah, I'm starting to think their calling wasn't really as pro wrestlers. Just a thought that maybe there's some underlying issues there that might need to be addressed.
Yeah. So, the last match of the show that we will not be watching is Chris Benoit versus Sabu for the Chris Benoit reasons. But basically, Benoit continues to just kind of be like the best wrestler here, so we're just going to have him keep wrestling matches. Thanks.
Sure.
And he is facing Sabu because Sabu is a maniac. He is the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal. And he is determined to prove it. This is a test for both Sabu and Benoit, if Benoit can hang with such a maniac.
Wait, has Sabu not proven himself already by this point?
Well, he's concerned. He's concerned that there might be a contender for the most suicidal, homicidal, genocidal wrestler.
Well,
unironically, that's what Paul Heyman said in the promo.
Well,
yeah,
well, that didn't age very well.
No.
Oh no. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess Sabu is psychic on top of being homicidal, suicidal, genocidal.
Yes. So Sabu and Benoit are set to go at it in the main event of the show. So if you would like to watch along with us, I mean, it is on Peacock, and unlike a lot of, and honestly, the experience is probably more or less the same this time, except for music stuff, because there's no ads on this fucking program.
Oh no, we're missing an essential component, Austin.
We are. I saw another Tickety Ted ad, and I was like, yes.
No.
Yes.
I must know the Tickety Ted stories. I want to.
I want to know. Also, shouts out to a local ad that was advertising a surf highlight DVD, VHS. Excuse me. It's just like a 3-volume set of like 45-minute tapes of just people surfing really well.
Whoa! 102 hours and 15 minutes of just surfing compilation.
Of just watching people surf.
Man, thank God for YouTube.
Also, I got an actual fucking like a movie trailer for
What?
Francis Ford Coppola's Frankenstein movie.
Oh my, is that the fucking one with Kenneth Branagh?
Yes, it is. It's
Oh,
also the Kenneth Branagh one.
heyo. Oh my God, that what a what? And we're sure it's for Frankenstein this time. It's not gonna be like that fucking T2 as it's gonna be the making of
No,
Francis Ford
no,
Coppola's
no.
Frankenstein.
This wasn't a home video. This was a like movie trailer, as in like it's gonna be in theaters soon or whatever.
Oh shit, buddy. The ECW stepping up their ad game,
They
which is
are.
really fucking lame. Give me my obscure shit back.
I mean, there was also a tips and how to be good at pool VHS and how to get good at golf VHS.
Once again, thank God for YouTube. It let everybody put out shit like this at much, much more cheap manufacturing cost.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine paying like $20 to $30 in the 90s for a VHS that gives you tips about how to be good at pool.
Oh,
That's
complete toss up as to whether any of it's actually worth a damn, too.
sure. Like imagine paying money for those how-to VHSs.
We got it. We got it good with the YouTubes now, boys.
Yep. But yeah, none of that's going to be here tonight because it's a show that ECW sold for home video release.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well.
I forgot about Dreamer because I skipped it to come back to it. So,
Oh yes.
What a wild fucking story development this has been.
Okay.
Is the match? I will not say immediately what the match is, but basically, the week after the Sandman incident, Tommy Dreamer cut a promo in his house where he can't sleep. He can't stop thinking about it. It is haunting him. He continues to watch and rewatch the match. And it is just haunting him that this has happened. And he is so sorry. And he has now said that every match going forward that he's doing it for the Sandman.
Look, I know like you feel bad about this, but let's be clear, Sandman is still a rat bastard.
Oh, just you wait. All right. We're not the next week on the October 18th episode, it is revealed that the Sandman will have to medically retire because of his injuries. And they put together and on this November to Remember show will be Sandman's retirement ceremony. His farewell to the fans.
The farewell? What the fuck? From an eye, from a burnt eye.
Yes, he is permanently. He can never wrestle again
because of a. We've seen other people wrestle in eye patches.
He can never wrestle again.
Oh, see, so terribly sorry. I understand now.
And they have a call-in segment where, first of all, they get Woman on the phone. And Woman is like, yeah, I know that was a tragedy, but also, I still got a career. Sandman don't worth shit to me no more. Fuck, moving on from him. Real easy. And on this show, and she announces that on November to Remember, she will announce her new client that she will take to the top.
Why am I not surprised? Why the absolute shit am I not surprised?
And Joey Styles is like, Sandman wasn't a nice guy, but her attitude sucks.
God damn. ECW presents Women Be Shopping.
But then we cut to another phone interview where they call in Tommy Cairo. And you might remember, Tommy Cairo is literally why all this shit started.
Yeah, way back.
The Sandman thought Tommy Cairo was fucking his ex-wife Peaches.
Well, fucking his
and not paying for
it without paying for it. The key thing, he didn't pay the prostitution fee.
So Tommy Cairo is at home because he had been injured by the Sandman last time they had fought with each other. And he sits at home and he's talking about how it was unbelievable to watch it happen. He could barely stand it. He couldn't stand that he wasn't there to do it himself.
Heyo!
he basically is like, the Sandman is a piece of shit, and nobody gave any thought to me when he injured me. So you know what? Fuck the Sandman. I'm glad he's retiring.
Damn, I think Tommy Cairo's onto something here, man.
And honestly, the best part might be is that they have Joey Styles in the background reacting at a low audio, and you can just hear him faintly going like, when he realizes what Tommy Cairo is doing, he's like, "What? What? What are you? What?" Like he's stunned, he is bamboozled, he is affronted. It's absolutely hysterical.
Joey Styles does way too much pearl clutching for the show that he's on, dude. I swear to Christ.
Yeah,
that man is scandalized by everything. Fucking hell.
So Tommy Dreamer demands to confront Tommy Cairo for this bullshit.
Why? Why do we care? Fuck the Sandman. Why are you booing Cairo? He's right.
Essentially. And so Tommy Cairo yells at this fight, the Sandman, Cairo, excuse me. He thinks it's disgusting that Dreamer is dedicating his matches to the Sandman now.
Which it is.
So Tommy Cairo is going to fight Tommy Dreamer at November to Remember.
Over? Okay, fine.
And I don't know, maybe to try to make Tommy Cairo feel more like the actual heel instead of the designated heel. He does have a match with Mikey Whipwreck where he tries to put out Mikey Whipwreck's eye in the same way the Sandman got his eye put out.
Why?
I don't know. It's not as compelling as the clown thing that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, but what the?
He's just being a dick to Whipwreck for no reason.
Whipwreck's
really.
Fine. Okay, whatever.
So that is the match here: Tommy Dreamer versus Tommy Cairo. Also, shouts out is that ECW had people call into the hotline to talk about the Sandman, and it's funny, you did get some people who were like, "Yeah, the Sandman kind of deserved it." But honestly, the best one was Tommy Cairo called into the hotline just to talk more shit.
Wait, no way.
He did. They do a cut promo of like all these like people who called in, and Cairo was in the middle of it. There's Tommy Cairo.
Please, wait. Please tell me that was a work. Please tell me that was not planned on their part, because that would be so fucking funny.
It's a work, because like it was edited together like group of like phone calls.
Damn it! God damn it! Son of a bitch! I would have loved it if they like completely unplanned. Cairo called in and was like, and another thing.
Yeah. So Tommy Dreamer versus Tommy Cairo, and we're going to have the Sandman's farewell to the fans. And all the video packages are in that black and white filter with the sad music as if he was like dead.
Yeah. The favorite move of wrestling promotions, make it sound like a wrestler's dead when they're really just retiring. And I'm sure this is going to go off complete without a hitch.
Yeah, so back to what I was talking about. Peacock obviously has the full show. However, we will be doing a little bit of a piracy.
Yo-ho.
Yes, the ECW restoration project, ECW redubs, basically is all of ECW's hardcore TV episodes, as well as all of their release for home media shows like November to Remember have been they have had the original music redubbed in. So you can watch all the November Rain promos and Alice in Chains music and Pearl Jam and Nirvana and shit or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You can watch it as ECW as originally broadcast.
Yes, we love our purism.
Yep. So we will be back in the back half to talk about ECW November to Remember 1994.
Hell yeah.
And we are back. We have just finished the ECW November to Remember 1994.
Indeed, we have, and it was certainly something to remember. This was a very I think I can call this unique experience for me so
Mhm.
far on this podcast. The feeling of an ECW pay-per-view, I quickly realized, is truly unlike any other that I've heretofore watched, observed, analyzed, existentially absorbed for this show, I think.
It was a rough one.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that.
Mhm.
It had its moments, to be sure,
Yeah.
but wow. This felt more like a slow episode of Dynamite or something than an actual like
Mhm.
pay-per-view. But I guess when you stack it up relative to what the standard television fare for ECW was,
This is
maybe this
definitely
stands out.
higher up, I think.
Yeah, in some ways, yes. In a couple weird little ways, no.
Hmm.
But we'll get there.
Sure. We opened the show with, apparently they had it. They just said they filmed like the almost like pre-show stuff that like to warm up the crowd.
Yeah.
So that felt weird. Like they
Yeah,
just had
so you
like
have
a
the
room.
announcer out there has like a
Mhm.
goddamn plastic grocery bag that once he makes some opening announcements, he pulls some hats out of that he starts chucking into the crowd. And man, if that ain't just the most low budget ECW shit I've seen off the bat, oh boy.
Mhm. But no, he starts off just like yelling names to get the crowd to pop. It's kind of wild.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he's like, now all rise for the extreme version of the national anthem. He says very nonchalantly.
He said that completely unironically
This
as
man said extreme a couple times with the just complete
extreme.
disinterest dripping from his vocal cords.
Yeah. So the extreme version of the national anthem is one that is played on a heavily distorted electric guitar.
Yeah, and it kind of seems like the electric guitarist is struggling a little. Like he seems to be taking some awkward pauses to find what the fuck his next chord is.
Well, I took that to mean that I'll go ahead and skip ahead here. Is that I took the pauses to mean like he's supposed to be noticing 911
I
and is
guess,
like
but it doesn't read
getting
super well.
distracted. It doesn't help that there's no camera to show his face. Like the only camera they have is overhead from behind
Yeah,
of this
but
because
either way, so he's struggling through the national anthem on electric guitar, very extreme,
and
and
out comes 911 and Paul E. Dangerously.
what does 911 do?
He
But choke
says
slam
he
people.
says fuck America and choke slams the guitarist. And meanwhile, Paul Heyman is, I guess, by some definition, shredding.
Yeah, was he? It kind of felt like
He plays a
spent
couple and he plays a couple of notes.
I thought he did that as like a meme and to like purposefully sound bad.
I don't know how intentional he was at sounding bad, but he was definitely playing something.
He was he definitely made guitar noises vaguely.
And then the
But yeah,
crowd, like a bunch
911
of
based maybe.
psychopaths, like the crowd, like a bunch of psychopaths, are like one more time. And
Yeah.
so 911 choke slams the guitarist again.
Again, we have found the crowd even more bloodthirsty than goddamn Lucha Underground.
Yeah. 911 probably saved us from having to watch that guy do some like freestyle guitar solo at the high note
It was
part.
fun too because I was watching this guy play this national anthem unironically on electric guitar, and I'm like, this is probably one of those dudes who, you know, performs what is ostensibly some kind of countercultural art, but then like you get him to open up about his political positions, and he's saying the most like yuppie conservative like lame bullshit you've ever heard. But also, if he was in on like he's shredding here, then you sit him down and ask him like, what he thinks about like the state of morals in America. He's like, well, you see, I think there's a pandemic of degeneracy, and I use my sick riffs to rail against that. But also
Rage for the Machine is
rage
who
for the
this guy
machine,
plays
truly.
for.
Truly, no, but like I want to believe that like if I want to hope that if this guy was in on this, then maybe he's actually chill. Who knows? But anyway, but yeah, so 911 choke slams this dude, and then Paul's doing his Paul thing. Then they kind of head over down to the ring, and in the meantime, the announcer's like, now let's give it up, or let's give a salute to the voice of ECW, and we see fucking Joey Styles like come out to where the guitar dude is and like check on him while the announcer's like being like, let's give a salute to the voice of ECW. Joey Styles is like clearly like, what the hell do I do with this?
Why is there a corpse up here now?
Yeah, what he's so I guess he was getting saluted while he was trying to figure out how the fuck basic first aid works.
Sure, but then the 911 have made it back to the ring, and they start chasing the ring announcer.
Yeah, fuck the ring announcer too, I guess.
And 911 choke slams the ring announcer.
Yeah, and Paul gets on mic and is like, I fucking hate your announcing. It sucks so much. We can say the fuck word. Isn't that neat?
We can say the F word, guys. We're not on TV.
Yay. It's
the
so
crowd
cool.
are a bunch of maniacs, and they were like, and they chant one more time again. And
speaking of the crowd being a bunch of maniacs, there's a dude in the front row with the sign that says, bring out the 5-year-olds.
I don't know what that means, and I don't want to know. Sign guy.
Concerned. Yeah, this was like the sign guy of the show. He had all of this. This man had a different sign for every match.
He did.
Nuts.
No. So Paul Heyman, 911 picks up the ring announcer guy, and before he choke slams him again, Paul Heyman takes his stupid giant brick phone, because Paulie Dangerously carries a cell phone proper for 1994, which is brick.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So he takes his brick phone and clonks the ring announcer with it, and then 911 chokes.
Also, in the middle of this, Joey Styles hops on his mic for about 2 seconds to be like, testing the hot mic. Can you hear me down there?
Testing.
And I'm like, I feel like you really should have done this ahead of time, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess if this is the pre-show, this is technically ahead of time, but like, it got fucking recorded. Okay, so EMS comes out to attend to the dead ring announcer, and the crowd starts goddamn chanting for CPR like it's somebody's finishing move. Jesus Christ, people.
These people are freaks.
Absolute insanity.
So
holy shit.
They cart off this ring announcer on a stretcher.
Yep.
And we just move on with the show. Okay.
But it's a different ring announcer than...
Yeah, they have two ring announcers. One was only there to just get killed, and then they have the real one to do the show.
Why? What? Oh my god, this is so weird. Okay.
Because nothing gets the crowd fired up more than 911 choke slamming somebody.
Yeah, again, shout out to Paulie Dangerously for taking a man with ostensibly no fucking in-ring talent and just turning him into the biggest hype machine in the entire company just because he could choke slam a motherfucker.
Yep. So the first match on the show that we skipped, JT Smith versus beat Hack Myers, and after the match, they brawled to the back.
Amazing.
Before we move on to the real show, I feel like I should just go ahead and say what happened in the other match we skipped at the end of the show, so we don't have to end on a match we didn't watch.
Yes.
So Chris Benoit versus Sabu happens for a couple of minutes until Chris Benoit botches a back body drop and legitimately severely injures Sabu's spinal cord.
Yeah.
And they have to attend to Sabu, and on the fly, Too Cold Scorpio comes out, and then Benoit and Too Cold Scorpio have a completely impromptu 12-minute match so that there is an actual main event to this show.
What the fuck?
That ends in a double count out, because of course it does.
What the fuck?
They go fight out through out into the ringside, and Public Enemy tries to interfere, but Scorpio chases him off. It's fucking nuts. Again, fun fact, Chris Benoit, one of his more infamous nicknames of his career is the Crippler, and he legitimately started using this nickname because of this botch that actually injured the back of Sabu.
Holy shit.
He crippled Sabu. He is therefore the Crippler, Chris Benoit.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Oh god. Yeah, okay, so wild. Shout out to Scorpio for being the MVP here, I suppose.
Yeah, so let's move back to the matches we actually watched.
Real show.
So the second match of the show, the Pitbulls, number 1 and number 2. David learning that the Pitbulls do not have names.
I didn't realize that the Pitbulls were named like fucking Dr. Seuss sidekicks.
I'm glad you mentioned it, because I was going to if you didn't.
Chocolate Thunder. Anyway, fucking Pitbull 1 and Pitbull 2, because I guess, I don't know, for some reason they don't have identities past the fact that they're both Pitbulls. Okay.
And then the Bad Breed, Axel and Ian Rotten.
Yes, yeah. Which
I could not figure out what song the Bad Breed come out to, but the Pitbulls come out to Thunder Kiss 65, which is also the song that is used in the title card.
Yeah, it seems kind of a weird, like you're aping the company's bid, or maybe like the company let you use their own song. Maybe a bit of favoritism there. Weird. Someone should have double checked that. Anyway, so off the bat, we get a great. We just, man, we're off the bat getting beautiful examples of why one of the big reasons this show feels like such a mess, because it was produced unprofessionally as fuck and messily as fuck. There is one singular camera during this kind of floor shenanigans heavy tag match, leaving
for a tag match. Almost the entirety of the match features one half of them fighting in the ring, and the other half fighting over on the floor.
And poor Joey Styles here having to describe in decent detail what the hell is happening off screen, because we're just not seeing it. Like, the camera's just fucking pan and scanning explicitly on ring, and we never see what the hell is going on the floor. Guys, what are you doing?
It's bad.
It's really bad. And it's only the first of many like little technical bothersome points for the evening.
Sure. Basically, the match is the Pitbulls squash the Bad Breed, to be honest.
Yeah, they take out Bad Breed pretty goddamn easily.
Yeah.
And in response to this, Joey Styles says, that's got to make them the number 1 contenders for whoever. Thanks, Joey.
We don't know who the tag champs are yet. It could be anybody, really.
I get, but just the way he said it made him sound so.
Nah, the Pitbulls hit the Super Bomb, which is basically a top rope power bomb assisted, and they win the match in like 3 minutes. It is what it is. It's squash.
Yeah.
But then Axel Rotten grabs the chains that the Pitbulls wear to the ring, and they just start attacking, and he starts attacking the Pitbulls with them. And the crowd, being a bunch of lunatics, start chanting, "We want blood."
Yeah, that like so Pitbulls are getting attacked with their own goddamn dog collar chains, and Pitbull, I want to say it was Pitbull 1. I couldn't.
Pitbull 2 is the one that got blit. That was
Pitbull 2. Yeah, Pitbull
real
2
bad.
Gets hit on the head, and then it looks pretty clean at first. Then he like flips over and gets chain whipped. Then he flips back over, and all of a sudden he's fucking spattered in like what already looks like darker, dried up blood. And it's like, Jesus Christ, when did this happen?
Yep. He the snippy.
Everything's super fucking amateur on this show except for the blade jobs, I guess. Jesus.
Hell yeah, dude, that's extreme.
Oh, obviously. God damn it.
So the Pitbulls and the Bad Breed, they both walk out. And then we cut on over the third match of the show, Mr. Hughes versus Too Cold Scorpio.
Yeah. And like again, everyone's like the pacing on this show, it's so sluggish. Everyone's just like kind of constantly standing around, and a lot of people look like they kind of don't feel fully comfortable like with their own stage presences. Like I see a lot of like the kind of like amateur actor thing of like swaying in place from a lot of people, especially as we're waiting for Mr. Hughes to come out, because Mr. Hughes for some reason takes forever to enter and walks slow as goddamn molasses.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem is that there is we never see it on camera, but if there are shots from other ECW shows that give you a better scope perspective on the geography of this arena,
Yeah.
there is a pretty lengthy entranceway from backstage to the ring. The ring the camera barely catches this, and they start the music from as soon as they walk through the curtain.
Oh, I that's fair. However, Mr.
Hughes in his attempt to kind of play like badass bodyguard just kind of walks really slow.
Yes, that's the other thing. Hughes just walks slow as shit. And there's like a cameraman like following in front of him to get what looks like a like POV shot of him walking the runway, but we never
don't cut to it. I guarantee they'll use that on hardcore TV when they replay stuff, but they're not going to do it now.
Why? Were they incapable of cutting between feeds?
Apparently they can't cut feeds live.
Oh my fucking god, Paul. You absolute carny.
I mean, there's absolutely no camera cuts on this show.
No,
it is
camera
entirely
cuts.
The one hard cam.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god, the way this show is put together. You can tell this man operated on a goddamn shoestring budget. Holy
so
fuck.
Mr. Hughes comes out to Are You a Redneck by Roughneck, by Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
Who had a hip-hop career apparently.
I guess.
Too Cold Scorpio comes out to Whoop, there it is. Well, also dressing like he could be in Wham.
He really could. And my man's got the moves on his entrance. He knows how to jam with the crowd. He dances with people. It's so great. Oh my god. Also, the announcer announces Mr. Hughes, and then Mr. Hughes has to correct him to the roughneck Mr. Hughes. I guess he's very
get that nickname in there, son.
Goddamn dork. Okay.
And then the crowd, honestly, it's hilarious to me how much the crowd actually hates Mr. Hughes. Like, the crowd jeers him a lot, and then he always decides to like step to him about it.
He just feeds right the fuck. Like it's like the goddamn Harlem Heat at Hog Wild, right? They're just more than happy to feed into that crowd's anger. Just keep jaw jacking. Just keep being all I'm big and scary. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah. So that's a thing. Classic heel move, I suppose, especially of that era. Mr. Hughes, I can't remember if we've seen a full match from him yet, but like
don't believe so.
Okay, cool. My man, like, okay, he's always wearing like black slacks, black formal shoes, a short sleeve white t-shirt, black tie, suspenders. He does not strip out of any of that for his matches. He just wrestles in pretty full formal wear.
Dude even wears like some kind of eyewear that like sunglasses with a band, so the sunglasses never come off.
Yeah, this is true. Hey, we can't the sunglasses keep things super cool. We can't have those coming off. It's rid of the cool factor. But him wrestling in that entire getup is just magical. Unfortunately, his work is a little less so.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. To me, this was the shittiest match on the show.
It was up there for me.
I'm gonna use this time to bring up is I think that a weird thing about this show for me is that there are a lot of matches that were extremely one-sided, and some of them work for that.
Yeah.
This I don't think did at all.
No, it really doesn't.
Hughes, and it's not like this was a big moment either way, big storyline or anything. Hughes isn't even supposed to have this match. It's supposed to be Matt Bourne.
Yeah.
And it is literally just like Hughes is a big boy and thus strong. And so he literally dominates the whole fucking match. And again, Hughes is fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like,
he's not a good wrestler.
He's not a good big man. He's not a good big man wrestler.
Yeah.
He's very boring about that.
I know.
Like, and it double sucks because I know Too Cold Scorpio is great. And you wouldn't know it from watching this match.
Best here, but he can't do a damn fucking thing about it.
No, it's slow. It's a sloggy. The match was, according to Wikipedia, 7 minutes and 9 seconds. And it feels it. Even it feels twice that length almost.
Yeah.
Like, it just keeps going and going until Scorpio hits Mr. Hughes one time. And Mr. Hughes just kind of topples
apparently
over
goes down like a bitch.
Like a fucking clown. And then Too Cold Scorpio gets to the top rope, hits his 450, and wins.
And just gets the dub off those two things. So you have this big monster character, and you just make him go down like that. What are you clowns doing? And yeah, it was slow pace as shit, because Hughes was in control most of the match, and Hughes moves slow as shit, and not in an interesting way either. He's just fucking boring. Like,
yep.
So it's just this one was just a slog. And again, it sucks because I wanted to enjoy a Scorpio match, and you can see the talent that man so deeply possesses, but barely, because most of the time he has to fucking sell for Hughes, and it's dumb as shit.
It's awful. And then
what's great is he hits Hughes, and then he gets up on the top rope, and like it's about 5 seconds between when he like hits Hughes and gets up on the top rope. Hughes gives this like delayed ass sell of like, once Scorpio's up on the rope, he then fucking like hops a little and flops over, and then Scorpio jumps on top of him and gets the 3 count, and Hughes gets a delayed ass kick out, but it's already too late.
He does the kicks out at 3.1 shit.
Yeah. So 2 delays in a row from him. Great. Good job.
Yeah.
And of course, immediately takes to attacking Scorpio afterwards.
Yeah, after the match, Hughes attacks Too Cold, and he just gets on the mic, and he's like, "I'm the roughneck. You saw I'm a bang, you know what I do." Yep. And then
he leaves the ring, and then Scorpio gets up, gets on mic, and is like, "Hey, Hughes, fuck you." And then they start fighting again.
Now, he calls out Hughes, points out that Too Cold did win the match, and he calls Hughes a shoe shine boy. And then Scorpio goes and grabs a chair, hits Mr. Hughes with a chair, and then they just brawl to the back.
Yeah, but it like takes us a while for them to brawl to the back, too. God damn it. It was a slog from start to goddamn finish. Oh, yeah. God, it was painful. And then the announcer gets on mic to hawk that merch, which I would make fun of as some more carny shit, but we literally had that happen at the fucking WWE house show we went to at intermission, so I can't even.
I honestly thought they were about to go to intermission.
Yes.
I was like, dude, is he about to call an intermission on this fucking show?
That's how he made it sound.
Yeah. So now we go to match 4, Tommy Cairo versus Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Cairo comes out to "We Will Rock You," apparently.
Yeah, which I can't tell if that's a power move or just insanely basic.
Yeah. Tommy Cairo takes so fucking long to get to the ring, it gets to the guitar solo in that song.
Yeah, this is true. And you can tell he's evil now because he wears all black.
He wears all black, and I didn't talk about him doing this, but he did this in that interview where he shits on Sandman. He takes a kendo stick, a Singapore cane, excuse me, and he like puts it into his eye, and he's like, who am I? I'm the Sandman. And he starts doing it here, and then he gets to the other side of the ring, and he takes some fans' glasses and puts them on and pretends to be blind.
Yeah.
And then he gives them back, and he gets back in the ring, and then he starts using the cane like a walking stick, like a walker stick.
Yeah, and Joey Styles takes great offense to this, or at least I'm pretty sure he did, because for about 5 minutes in this match, Joey Styles' mic quality sounds like he's going through a goddamn tunnel, and I have no
Yeah.
idea why.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
Cheap ass equipment conked out on them for a few minutes, I guess.
Yeah. It's Tommy Dreamer, like a man of the people of 94, comes out to Pearl Jam, even flow.
Yeah, that's how you know he's a good guy. Pearl Jam, of course.
And then Dreamer just immediately starts the match and starts whooping Cairo's ass.
Yeah.
This is another match that is fairly one-sided.
Yeah.
But I think that's fine. It seems to apparently be like the Tommy Dreamer gets revenge match formula.
2.0. Yeah, I guess. Styles
It
makes
doesn't.
sure to
It
throw in
doesn't. It doesn't really hit the same because Cairo's only crime was making fun of the Sandman for having to retire.
Yeah. Yeah, like everyone's just kind of like all of a sudden totally fine with rooting for Sandman, and Cairo's over here like, man, this is kind of weird. Everyone's like, no, shut the fuck up.
No,
he's a hurt man.
It's the kind of like don't speak ill of the dead.
Yeah.
Except Sandman isn't dead.
Yeah, we're sucking his cock real hard, but he's still a piece of shit. He's just a piece of shit who supposedly doesn't have functioning eyeballs right now. Sorry about it.
We'll get to that. Well, I can't wait to get to that.
Oh, yeah, of course. But, yeah. Styles' mic at some point finally starts sounding better, and he gives us another reminder that indeed Dreamer is dedicating all of his matches to Sandman, and no one is really bothering to question why.
Including Dreamer at one point does the fucking pile driver around the ring that we talked about last time that Sandman did to Dreamer.
He's fucking tributing Sandman like they're best buds. My brother in Christ, he was whipping you with a kendo stick not 3 weeks back.
Like a month ago, you were like, this guy is I don't fear death, so I'm going to kick your ass. The only thing I fear is death. I'm going to kick your ass. And now you're like, oh man, all my matches are for the Sandman.
Yeah,
Tommy Cairo, even before we get to the actual retirement bit, was in my book totally the babyface here.
Nope, 100% agree.
Because
absolutely,
he refused to do revisionist history on the Sandman just because he was going through a personal tragedy.
Yeah, again, the fucking hand wringing from ECW people. Why? Why are you acting like a bunch of like concerned grandparents about everything? Stop clutching your goddamn pearls and be extreme for God. Never thought I'd say this. Take some goddamn cues from your bloodthirsty ass audience. Holy shit.
Because the audience was absolutely not into this. I mean, they like the Sandman in the sense that they like anybody who uses a weapon on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But they aren't like offended by Tommy Cairo pretending to be blind.
Yeah. Shout out to Tommy. Shout out to the sign guy having a sign that says Tommy Dreamer should be fired, suspended, and caned.
Which, in that order. In that
order. Which beautiful. No, but like, so is that person a Sandman guy, and are they rooting for Sandman as a face or a heel? Like, what is happening? Sign guy.
It is admittedly the confusing ass elements of an audience that is just there for blood.
Yeah.
Is they don't really give a shit about face heel distinctions. Like, they like who they like, and they generally like anybody who's willing to be violent. It's why they love Tommy Dreamer. It's because he became the violent guy.
Yeah, except now Sign Guy here is clearly morally outraged at what Tommy Dreamer did. Completely by accident. I can't stress enough. Completely by goddamn accident. So what the hell is the problem?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Sign Guy, I want to know his story.
Weird. But Tommy Dreamer eventually grabs both a frying pan and a fucking oar from the fans.
And of course, Styles can't help but make an up the creek without a paddle joke.
Yeah, I was like, ha! They fight out into the crowd. Tommy Dreamer hits a DDT on the floor.
Yeah.
To Tommy Cairo, but they
also looks as though maybe someone brought a goddamn wooden pallet. Like,
yeah,
okay. the crowdsourced weapons have like last time we were joking about it. This time they got even more just flagrantly ridiculous, as if in response to us. And now someone has a goddamn wooden pet. How did you bring that into the arena? Why did someone let you bring that into the arena? What is happening?
There's no arena security here. I don't know what you were hoping for.
This is fair. Paul would not dare shell out for some goddamn security. He doesn't give a shit.
They get back in the ring, and Cairo is able to get back in control of the match. And
for a little bit.
Cairo then decides to bring in the Singapore Cane, and that would be his undoing, really, because Tommy Dreamer will get the cane away from him, and then beat the shit out of him with that cane.
Okay, fucking Cairo. I don't know why, but Cairo, he goes down onto the floor. Tommy Dreamer knocks him down, and my man Tommy Cairo, while with his back on the floor, fucking puts his legs up and goes spread eagle for Tommy Dreamer, just with his cock and balls just proudly presented to be whipped by the goddamn Singapore Cane. Well, what?
I mean, the idea is that Dreamer did that. He's functionally not. By this point in the match, he's functionally knocked out.
Yeah, but like, how the hell are his legs staying up and spread eagled like that while he's not there?
Dreamer was pulling the legs up.
But then he lets go, and the legs just stay up. What, did Cairo go through unconscious rigor mortis here? Those legs should have fallen the fuck back down.
Cairo is bleeding. Tommy Dreamer hits Cairo in the balls with the cane, and he just keeps beating Cairo to death with his.
And at some point, Cairo just stops reacting, and I'm like, "Is this man goddamn dead?" But then,
Tommy
Dreamer walks away, and he just fucking like 20 seconds later just randomly flops, and I'm like, okay, I guess he's alive. But like unprovoked, he's just been lying there untouched for 20 seconds, and he just goes flop. What?
Yeah. So at some point here in the middle of this, Joey Styles starts opining for the days of old Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer's been here for a year, and what happened to that nice, sweet kid from well-groomed, well-mannered kid from Dreamland, USA? Who is he? Who is ECW turned Tommy Dreamer into?
I'm not sure who I feel more bad for, Tommy Cairo or Tommy Dreamer. Styles, what the fuck are you saying?
Honestly, could be a compelling story to tell, except the story is being told that Dreamer is totally in the right for becoming this person. This is how he became popular with the audience, is to become a edgy, remorseless badass with a weapon.
Yeah, and they never look back. Never
look back at all.
Yeah, so worthless, but okay, sure. So stretcher count 2 as EMS shows up on the scene once
Tommy
more.
Cairo is declared the loser. Dreamer's declared the winner by ref stoppage. The ref literally is like, this is going too far. So Cairo needs medical attention. You win, Dreamer.
Which
go away.
We just linger on this for a while, which makes me think that last time we were here and they had that whole like super long shot of Sandman getting tended to by EMS was not the like intentional stroke of genius that it was.
That's just how they do it.
Their awkward fucking pacing with their camera work. But then Tommy Cairo gets up and he's suddenly okay.
Sure. He doesn't. He wants to go out under his own power.
Yeah, sure. And the crowd is chanting "Pay your bills" at him.
Yep, the crowd unironically chanting "Pay your bills" at Cairo, like Sandman told him to do.
Look, I mean, he needs if he received the sex work, he's got to pay for it. You don't get freebies, dipshit.
I guess so. So the next match of the show is the ECW World Championship match. Even they understood how relatively unimportant this match was because they put the world title match in the middle of the show.
Yeah, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'm like, why? What? It's the title match. What are you doing?
It's Ron Simmons versus Shane Douglas in an incredible heel versus heel encounter.
Okay.
And we know that's how that works because Ron Simmons Well, I'll tell you, I found this. I admit, I found this match kind of confusing in terms of how it was structured, but it
Yes.
feels heel v heel because Ron Simmons gets the microphone and explains to Philadelphia that honestly, I never liked any of you people. I'm really just here for the gold. And Ron Simmons straight up says if he had a missile with him, he would blow up this whole city and take it off the map.
Ron Simmons threatens to glass this whole fucking city of Philadelphia. What the hell? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So I clocked what I assumed was Flair is gay chants, but actually I'm pretty sure it's just Flair is dead. They chant this a lot throughout the show.
I heard something completely different. I can't even remember what I heard. Something about fired. I don't know.
Yeah, I assumed it's Flair is dead because they use it. They chant it a lot whenever Shane Douglas is around.
Yeah, I really like that chant.
And here's what's confusing about this Shane Douglas Ron Simmons match is that Ron Simmons, okay, he heals on the crowd by calling them a bunch of degenerates that he would like to blow up. All right. And Shane Douglas, like, he's kind of not quite accidentally face turned here, but like Shane Douglas's message right now, even though he's an obnoxious braggart who keeps trying to shoot fight a guy who doesn't give a shit about him at all.
But the crowd's into that.
They
fucking hate Flair too.
Like his message, Shane Douglas's message right now is fuck the Fed, fuck the dub. The only real wrestling is ECW.
Yeah. Okay.
And the crowd loves that messaging. They also love to say fuck the Fed and fuck the dub. So yeah. Shane Douglas is more or less a babyface for all this, and yet he still wrestles like the cowardly Weasley heel he always wrestles like.
Yeah, he takes forever to get in the ring. Whereas in the meantime, Ron Simmons, as much as he's like messaging-wise clearly a heel, he wrestles like a face. Is the weird thing. Like he doesn't. I don't remember him pulling all that really any dirty tricks or anything.
No,
I didn't. I don't remember him like, you know, being particularly I'm evil during the match. He just kind of does his work and that's that. No shenanigans, nothing, no bullshit. So what the fuck is I'm glad you brought this up because I had a note in here about I'm low-key confused about half the roles here because on one hand Douglas is supposed to be like this totally cool face kind of who told the NWA to go fuck itself. And Simmons is clearly the heel, but on the other hand, like at the end of the match, after spoiler alert, Douglas retains. He's all alone by himself in the ring. Styles puts over that he's like a sad, ostracized little man who pushes people away, and that's like a sign of his own like moral failings or something. So I don't know what the fuck is supposed to be happening here.
Right.
Like if it's bad guy versus bad guy, fine. But the problem is Styles is like Schrodinger's bad guy. He simultaneously is and isn't. Or not Styles, Douglas. Shane Douglas is.
Yeah.
Like, so what the hell is happening?
Like, the crowd wants to cheer for Shane Douglas. And he doesn't wrestle like... The match is not structured like a match of a guy who the crowd really likes and one who the crowd really doesn't. It is...
Yeah.
Or at least not structured the right way in that way. Like, it's... Like Shane Douglas plays keep away in the early part of the match. He literally grabs a female photographer and hides behind them.
Yeah.
And Ron Simmons has to deck Shane from around the woman. Like that is an objectively heel move.
Yeah. And a pretty babyface response because Ron Simmons didn't just go, fuck her, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. So, but again, the crowd doesn't like Ron Simmons and the crowd likes Shane Douglas. It's confusing that they played that the way they played it.
Yeah.
It is fairly one-sided, except not as one-sided as other matches I've seen on the show.
Yeah, see here's the thing for me on the kind of one-sidedness here. It feels like they're building up Simmons to be super powerful. Like he gets a lot of spots in, and toward the end, he's like no selling chops from Shane Douglas. But then, kind of like the Mr. Hughes match, out of nowhere, even though Douglas does get more spots in than like Too Cold did in his match with Hughes, like Douglas hits kind of like one more little thing, like directly after Simmons no-sold some of his fucking chop,
Yeah,
and rolls him up and gets the dub anyway. Walkity walkity walk.
Well,
what?
I think it was a little bit smarter here because basically Ron Simmons has Shane up on his shoulders, and Shane rolls his way back down Simmons's back, and you even get a moment where Simmons is struggling to like stop Shane from doing what he's doing, and then Shane does bring him down for a crucifix pin, and pins him 1, 2, 3, and it better gets across the idea that Shane is just crafty, and that's how he got out of the match. I mean, I think it's better than Two Cold Scorpios because Scorpio won with like a real move.
That's fair.
And
that's fair.
And he took down Mr. Hughes with the flimsiest of moves before he hit the 450. And here it's just like it felt more like he really did just catch Ron Simmons at the exact right moment. But it was still kind of one-sided overall.
Yeah, weird. Fucking weird.
And then after the match, Ron Simmons starts attacking Shane Douglas. Shane Douglas runs and gets his title belt, and he clocks Simmons with the title belt, and they're just fighting, and Two Cold Scorpio comes out to also attack Shane Douglas. He ain't forgot shit.
Yeah, I guess Two Cold's gone from like, Shane, I respect you, but I'll like kick your ass in ring to just like fuck you, Shane. So he's joining in with Ron in which is also weird because Two Cold's ostensibly a face and he's pairing with ostensible heel
he's
Ron
2-on-1 and he's 2-on-1ing a guy.
Yeah. What
But he hits an absolutely beautiful moonsault off the top.
Oh, he does. Oh, it's super dope.
And they both Ron and Two Cold leave, and the refs check on Shane Douglas for being injured, and Cactus Jack even comes out to be like, "Is Shane Douglas all right?"
But why did Cactus Jack come out? I don't
get that either. I don't know what it was setting up.
Okay, cool.
More Flair is dead chance from what I could hear as Shane Douglas leaves, and as you said, Styles tries to be like he says that Shane Douglas couldn't even buy friends, which is funny because he bought 2 of them. That is what he did with Mr. Hughes and Matt Bourne.
Yeah, he literally bought himself 2 friends, and I guess they like aren't with him anymore. But
yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing is that it feels like if we were trying to figure out what Shane Douglas's character role is right now, honestly, if he's supposed to be becoming a babyface, getting rid of Mr. Hughes makes sense because the crowd fucking hates Hughes.
Yeah,
and if you want people to start liking Shane Douglas, then it's good to get him away from people that the crowd doesn't like. It's pretty basic,
easy.
It's a pretty basic wrestling formula when that happens. When you have a pair of guys, one the crowd likes, one the crowd doesn't. Well, it's time to break apart. To not muddle the reaction. But again, Shane Douglas wrestled the whole match like he was a heel. So I don't understand that when they seem at least cognizant enough to understand that the crowd likes Shane Douglas.
The storytelling here is so fucking confused.
Wow.
That's the thing that kills me about this whole show is the storyline is clearly goddamn confused and the technical specs fucking suck. So you can't even get distracted by things moving from one thing to the other because everything just awkwardly lingers forever and ever.
They do. They linger on so much shit for no reason.
Yeah. Well, I imagine the reason is they don't have like the goddamn media aptitude yet.
No, they really don't. So we cut on back after this. We get ring announcer gets to the ring, and it's time for the retirement of the Sandman. The ring announcer says that he epitomized ECW, which, to be fair,
since day one
does kind of fit. I don't know if I'd say day one because, again, in case you didn't know, the Sandman is called the Sandman because when he first debuted in ECW, he was a literal surfer. That was why
Yeah.
he's named that. So I don't know if day one he epitomized ECW, but I don't know. I kind of agree with the idea that he is the most ECW of ECW people.
I suppose, but I also can't stand it because they're speaking so fucking reverently of him.
They do. They speak
Why
him.
are we sucking Sandman's cock this hard?
So Todd Gordon brings out the Sandman because the Sandman is blind. He is in fact so blind. He is both wearing bandages over his eyes and he's wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, we can't
He's
just have
double,
one. We gotta really drive the point home.
He's double blind.
Mm-hmm.
So Todd Gordon gets a promo and he talks about how much of a great friend the Sandman is. He's a great guy and he's everything ECW is about. So he stops as he's getting choked up on commentary. And honestly, as much as this is obviously stupid, it's also kind of hilarious how hard they're doing revisionist history on the Sandman.
Yeah, for what fucking... Although, what's even funnier is the fact that we are getting, like, definite boos from the crowd toward him, which is weird because I thought everybody loves Sandman because he hits people with a kendo stick or whatever. But, yeah, I guess some people are not particularly impressed with the Sandman, which is doubly funny.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, I feel like they did that to try to like play up the twist, but there were smarter ways to do it without everyone seeming really stupid and kind of ignoring everything the Sandman did before he got burned in the eye.
Again, the complete lack of coherent storytelling, like Paulie Dangerously, creative genius who was able to make a lot of things work, sure, but God, this early scripting.
This November to Remember 94 is a bit of a misstep on that one.
I kind of feel like it's just been like this, but with all the previous episodes we've watched since they're like goddamn 45 minutes long, and because half of them, like, they're half riddled with recaps and like 1/3 riddled with ads, random local ads. Like, there's just not enough content for us to realize how fucking bad they are at like scripting in any given episode, just because it's so goddamn disparate in the first place that we're just kind of like getting little scraps and not enough to realize how incompetent it is anyway.
That's fair. So the Sandman gets the microphone. He can't believe he's having to retire at 31, but he's talking about
the Sandman is 31
in 94. Yeah.
Yeah, what the... I assumed he was, like, in his 40s or something. He looks, like, younger than he's ever looked here. And I didn't notice it until he said 31. I just always assumed this was a dude in his 40s. What the fuck? So, yeah, that's wild.
Them cigarettes, kids, you know, they really age you.
Mm-hmm.
But he talks about how he beat the shit out of Tommy Cairo, and he beat the shit out of Tommy Dreamer. And he said he was the flag bearer for the Extreme, and he wouldn't change a thing. And he talked about how he's lost so much. He lost his sight. He lost his woman, and he reframes the Peaches bullshit as like woman manipulating him, which, to be fair, that did kind of happen. Like, there was definitely a point where he's complicit in it too, but the initial problem was absolutely kickstarted by woman. That's not an inaccurate statement of events.
I suppose, but also, like, I get the feeling that he and his Peaches would end up with some marital problems at some point or other, considering the attitude that Sandman has heretofore demonstrated about the significant women in his life.
Mm-hmm, sure. He uses the shoot names when he says, Nancy Sullivan, you can kiss my ass.
Oh my God, he said a real name. What?
That's how you know that this is real.
That's how you know that this is... Yeah, they were really proud of the fact they were able to make the thing feel like a work like a shoot, like a shoot last time. So they're just like really leaning in, even though it kind of makes no goddamn sense here, and it's so clearly bullshit.
Yeah, like, the worst part about work shoots is it's usually pretty obvious when that it's a work shoot. Like,
Yeah.
it's entirely predicated on the idea that you're tricking people into thinking it's real, and most work shoots are still very obviously fake.
Yeah. I've for me here, I just draw the line because like it's just so sloppily done. Like I can tolerate work shoots on a premise of like being able like kind of like winking and nudging, blending kayfabe with reality, and everyone's kind of in on it, and like it's just I can enjoy it more as like a fun wink than anything. But here it just feels like they're trying to replicate like whatever the formula for whatever praise they probably ended up getting for how they ended the the I Quit match between Tommy and Sandman.
They worked some real magic, and then the follow up was not quite as much.
They worked some real magic, and then instead of like being smart and being like, what do we need to do to like improve on this formula, mature it, evolve it so that it's ready to like be taken to the next level, they're just like, let's just do the same shit again, like just kind of without any thought put behind it. It'll clearly have the same effect, right?
So Sandman, he starts talking about how like whatever Cairo had with Peaches was not as good as what Peaches and Sandman had. You need to know that Sandman and Peaches fucked real good.
Oh yeah. Oh, they fucked so good.
So then out comes Peaches.
Yeah, and Peaches is here. Did not expect that. I just kind of expected Peaches to be a perpetually off-screen character.
Now she's been an on-screen character, if only to get her ass kicked by Sandman and Woman. Oh. But what Peaches comes out, and it's funny because like Sandman's supposed to be blind, so he just keeps ranting about Tommy Cairo while Peaches comes out, and Peaches doesn't interrupt him. And Peaches stops and is like, she says she doesn't know if she wants to slap him or kiss him, and then she kisses him, of course. Yeah. Peaches makes mention of the fact that she's changed, and it's like I don't get the reference. Did she get implants? That feels like the most logical answer to this question, but based on context clues. But I also have no fucking idea because I didn't watch enough ECW to know what Peaches looks like to be like, oh yeah, those are some clearly bigger boobs. But
I just thought she was dressing slutty, and that was the joke.
I don't know. Joey Styles clearly caught whatever she was trying to reference because he's like, oh yeah, she looks different, all right. And Sandman, who is again blind, is like, oh, Peaches, I don't care if you got fat.
Peaches.
I laughed. I admit I laughed at that.
Yeah. Look, the whole Sandman, like, I hate my wife posting is so goddamn cringe and annoying. But that one was said earnestly enough that it was funny.
Yeah, I don't care if you got fat because I care about you, Pete. You're the best thing that ever happened to me, Peaches.
Oh my god.
And then out comes Woman, predating Vicky Guerrero by a decade.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's just yelling, excuse me. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's not Vicky Guerrero.
So Woman comes out and she says she's got her big announcement of her new client, and she straight up just hits Peaches in the face with a fucking cane.
Not even the face, just beans her right over the head directly, and Peaches goes down.
Yeah, and so a moment that is clear that I would argue is minor foreshadowing for where this segment is going is that like Sandman is fumbling around in the ring and gets in the corner. And Todd Gordon is yelling at Woman to leave, and Woman is yelling at Todd Gordon to leave. And they end up yelling to the point that Todd Gordon gets in the same corner where Sandman is. And Sandman just starts wildly flailing his arms about, and he knocks Todd Gordon out. And it is played as an accident because he is blind. But again, foreshadowing how this goes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Tommy Dreamer gets in the ring to stop this terrible bullshit. And off camera, I actually can believe the camera missed this, but goddamn, they probably shouldn't have. Sandman takes off his glasses and bandages to reveal that he is in fact not blind, and he takes the cane and beats Tommy Dreamer with it. Woman and Sandman did a ruse.
Yeah,
he faked his blindness the entire time. Woman was in on it, and now it has been revealed. woman's new client is just the fucking Sandman.
Which I would love to know why, like, fucking at what point they decided to do this, because Dreamer very much did, like, at least from the looks of it, flick a cigarette into Sandman's eye and, like, kind of whip him in the other eye with the kendo stick. So at what point was Sandman like, actually, I'm fine, this is all, like, was it premeditated beforehand and they're just like, let's just get lucky with a potentially bad looking injury? Or like, was he actually like, what was it actually all false alarm after he got attacked and then he's like, hey woman, come here, I got this great idea? Like, what the hell?
I take it to be that he got injury, like the injury within the story, the injury was real, but he was fine and he knew he was going to be fine, but he decided to fuck with Tommy Dreamer and he got woman in on it relatively early. So
okay,
we're talking like I would argue within a week. He would have known he was fine and then got woman to be like, let's act like I'm going to have to retire.
Oh my god. Okay, sure.
And then Sandman,
slimy bastard.
Which, by the way, Sandman came out in like a full suit. I never mentioned that because he starts undressing it slowly, and he takes the belt off and then starts whipping Tommy Dreamer with the belt.
Yep. Oh, and he lights his victory cigarette. Don't forget about the victory cigarette.
Hell yeah! The Sandman has learned nothing from this experience.
And he will continue to have learned absolutely not a damn thing.
So yeah, this is the Sandman fake retirement angle.
Oh yeah, it was real good. That was definitely
I enjoyed it, but I don't think the story logic holds up on this one very much.
It's just ridiculous. It's like the whole build up to this point was so cool for creating a hero out of Tommy Dreamer, like an extreme hero. Then all just went goddamn downhill by Tommy Dreamer white knighting for Sandman out of fucking nowhere, and like them just being like, oh, it was all a ruse anyway.
Hashtag Cairo was right.
Cairo was right. Yeah, seriously, why are you booing him? He is legitimately right. Go fuck yourself.
Yep. So after that affair is over, Joey Styles is on his ramp in the back, and he in the back area of the arena, and he is interviewing Shane Douglas to come on stage. And Shane Douglas is here, and he talks some shit as he always does. He drops Terry Bollea. He's using Hulk hunk of shit Hogan's real name. And
real clever there.
So he talks his usual shit. He starts talking about how, he doesn't give a damn that Ron Simmons is the first black world champion. The fight's not over, and he has his own brick phone with him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, also, something I noticed, which kind of was funny at first and then had a second, like, kind of funny thing afterward, was he says something about, like, a beautiful woman, and I heard someone in the crowd just go, ha ha, and I think they were thinking it was, like, a pun on, like, woman's name.
Yeah.
They found it way too funny, but then he later reveals that's not even who he was talking about, which makes it doubly funny.
Yeah, he mentions that, like, all his success here coming from his own blood, sweat, and tears, and of course with the help of a beautiful woman, it's weird they play it this way. It's, for context, it's Sherry Martel who, when Shane Douglas first turned heel, he aligned himself with Sherry Martel before she moved on to go back work for WCW. So he's talking about this beautiful woman, and he has his phone, and he allegedly has Sherry Martel on the phone. He very obviously is not talking to anybody on the other line here.
Yeah, no, he's doing the whole say the other person's thing in your own way.
Yeah,
on your end. In your own words to communicate to the audience. Shout out to the person in the audience who fucking yells $1.95 a minute as he's on the phone.
Shane Douglas running up that phone bill for this.
Yeah, so someone was very concerned about his finances when he's spending all this goddamn time on the telephone.
Yeah, but he apparently this is a hype for the November 19th show, which is one of those arena shows I kind of mentioned last time. It's not going to be aired on TV. They'll probably do highlights of it from TV, but it's not like They're not going to put this on VHS.
Yeah.
But for 2 weeks from now, there is that Sherry Martel is going to be managing Shane Douglas again in a tag match against Ron Simmons and Too Cold Scorpio. And who is his tag team partner? It's not going to be Hulk Hogan, who's already on Social Security. It's not going to be Ric Flair. It's not going to be Sting. It's going to be the man. It's going to be the man who can challenge Shane Douglas. And he shouts out. Someone in the audience yells it out before Shane Douglas gets a chance to say it, because he takes a long pause before he actually says who he is enlisted to be his tag team partner. Mm-hmm. But he's looking for outside help from outside ECW, and his tag team partner is Stunning Steve Austin.
Steve Austin is here. What the hell?
This predates Steve Austin getting fired from WCW and doing a run in ECW. And I'm going to be honest, I had no idea that happened.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I had no idea that he actually appeared on ECW as Stunning Steve.
That's really funny. So, like, is the Stunning Steve persona appreciably different from the Stone Cold Steve persona?
Very much so. It's part of, like, the Hollywood Blondes with Brian Pillman. It's basically, they were basically them trying to, despite the fact that neither of them are Californian. Brian Pillman is Canadian and Steve Austin is Texan.
Yes.
They both play it as like two Hollywood, pretty boys, more or less. Stunning Steve has fucking hair.
Steve Austin with hair? No, don't like.
So Stunning Steve Austin is going to be in ECW tag teaming with Shane Douglas for a one-off match. What the fuck?
That's wild.
I did take note that at one point Shane Douglas is talking shit to Ron and Too Cold, and he says, "Get all the brothers in the hood." Like,
okay,
please don't say things like that,
dude. Fucking Shane Douglas is just kind of like madly rambling for the entirety of this promo, and like, is he okay? Because he just kind of keeps going.
No, this is always what Shane Douglas is like.
Kind of loses the plot.
That is absolutely Shane Douglas special right there.
Even more than usual though. Like, at least the fucking fuck ECW rant had a point that it came back around to. Like, here, sure, he gets to announcing Steve Austin, but then I feel like he still rambles a tiny bit after that, and it's like, bro. Okay.
Yeah, but there we go. That sets up a big match for the show in a couple weeks in the ECW arena. Cool. Up next, we have Dean Malenko versus the Tasmaniac. That is allegedly for Jason's TV title. That doesn't sound official, but Jason is claiming that's what's going on.
Sure.
And honestly, pretty fun back and forth match. It's not long. It's only about 5 minutes.
No, it's not
it's a pretty fun match.
It's pretty good.
Especially because I don't think I've really enjoyed many other matches on the show up.
This was not a great match, I don't think, but like, I just like seeing Taz. Taz is talented as hell, and obviously Malenko's good too. Although this is clearly baby Malenko, who's still kind of finding his own way.
Yeah.
Something though. Something I noticed early on, because Jason is there to be ringside for Malenko, because I guess, square versus rectangle, not even that, but like, even though Malenko was banned from Jason's ringside, Jason has not been banned from Malenko's ringside, which I feel like is a really dumb oversight on Todd Phillips' part, but okay.
Okay, sure.
Or Todd Gordon's part, but either way.
Yeah.
Either way, dumb. But there's like a few like women in the audience you can hear who are losing their shit for Jason. They are.
He is
in on this,
the world's sexiest man. I don't know how you could argue.
I guess.
What a man! What a man! What a mighty good man!
You know what? Who am I to argue with the official title of Jason, the world's sexiest man, or whatever the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I did notice a slight proud return to penis-based offense. We got a few low blows in this match.
Yeah, at one point Taz like knees Dean Malenko in the balls, and it's super subtle. I'm
Yeah,
impressed.
but overall, I gotta say the thing that's really cool about this match, Taz is such a smooth worker. It's hard to describe in like a really good way, but the way Taz moves is just smooth. Like this is a man that makes everything he does look effortlessly second nature to him,
Mm-hmm.
which is just nuts. Like it's unlike any work I think I've ever really seen before.
Yeah,
Taz just is so wow.
and Malenko is also extremely graceful.
This is true
He's
too.
great.
Yeah, the two of them work well together in ring for the most part.
Yeah.
I think.
Crazy ass move. Taz hits a German suplex, and he like full rotates Dean Malenko till he dumps him on his head flat.
Dude, Taz's ability to throw people around is absolutely nuts. How is that man that strong?
Yeah.
He's the human suplex machine for a reason, but god damn.
Yeah. So after some good back and forth, Jason attempts to interfere, I suppose. Taz generally does not give a shit. However, we quickly cut off camera to Jason. This is honestly one of those moments they should have not been in the ring. Focus on the ring. Bad camera direction on this is instead of focusing on Taz and Jason fighting on the outside, we get a long shot of Dean Malenko just holding his towel behind his back, and he takes the towel and he smothers Taz's face with it, and the implication is he fucking chloroformed him.
See, you said that when we were watching, and I thought, no way, dude. That's too goofy even for ECW.
No.
He just had to have smothered him. But then here's what happened. So Taz goes down and is
wins,
fucking out, and the scrawny ass ref that they have in ring isn't entirely sure after he's declared the dub for Malenko why Taz is still unconscious. He looks completely impotent.
He's like fanning his face, trying to wake him up.
Yeah, but not even fully committal to that. He's kind of leaned down, like, you okay? Okay, I guess, and then walks away and kind of comes back. You sure you're okay? Okay, whatever. Sure? But and then Styles says on commentary, "I smell a rat. I smell something else too." Thanks for that, Styles. And like EMS arrives on the scene once more, and then Styles goddamn says, "I smell chloroform." Fucking how, Styles? How far away are you decently far away from the ring? How the hell do you hear this or smell this? What?
Apparently that chloroform was so strong, half the arena could smell it. Because
yeah,
that's the only other way.
This shows logic that would knock half the people out, but okay, fine. Either that or Styles just has the nose of a goddamn dog.
Word to the wise, doing smell-based angles in wrestling is rough because the announcers have to sell it, even though if it was really that pungent of a smell, then half the arena would also feel that.
Yeah, and people would be clearly like, okay. Yeah, right. So that was dumb. Also, earlier I had my stretcher count, which got up to 2. I thought with the arrival of EMS, the stretcher count would get up to 3. That did not happen. They did not have a stretcher with them this time. However, I can count up to something else. So, count for the amount of times an incapacitated combatant violently came to 2.
Yeah, because Taz gets up and goes to the back, presumably to go murder Dean Malenko.
Yeah, so like Tommy Cairo before him, Taz spazzes out of being unconscious, stands up, and like does the fucking SpongeGar meme where he's like, oh, he's clearly like confused. He tries to suplex somebody. I don't know.
Yeah.
He does his weird little like random Benny Hill spot that he did last time we were here, where he just like suplexes some like he suplexes a ref, I think, and then he gets out of the ring, and instead of suplexing any more innocents like he did last time, he just kind of like does a lap around the ring and then leaves. Okay.
Yeah, and the entire time there are huge bullshit chants from the crowd. Like they were not having this finish at all.
They were they rightfully thought it was dumb, and the ref was like, "What are you guys talking about? It was fun."
So, arguably the best match so far. also has this incredibly silly finish where
Yep.
Dean Malenko literally chloroforms Taz.
Sure thing. I guess. Why
We're
not
doing
at
we're
this
we're doing
point?
great here today.
Mm-hmm.
So finally we get to our last match, not the last match. Public Enemy versus Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck for the tag titles. Public Enemy come out to their usual music. Cactus Jack comes out to Born to Be Wild by
Yeah.
Steppenwolf.
Yeah. I mean, very fitting for him, I have to say. Like
Yeah.
that is a good fucking Mick Foley song right there.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So Mikey Whipwreck comes out with Foley instead of coming out on his own. And we get an extremely long and weird stalling bit here that I don't really
Yeah.
understand what happened. So Rocco Rock gets apparently is not having it with this crowd jeering at the Public Enemy. And he gets a microphone and starts bitching at him, but I couldn't really make out what he was complaining about. But then they just kind of both stand. Everybody just fucking stands there and does nothing for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. It's just nothing. And I was surprised the crowd didn't get more antsy about this because they were just kind of standing around while like Rocco kind of jaw jacked some people.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's weird. And the Public Enemy tries to fucking walk out on the match.
Yeah.
Like, listen, the entire I don't really mind that much about the extremely stereotypical heel wrestler decides to say fuck it, I'm leaving. I don't really care. I don't really mind that trope very much. But like literally the entire motivation for this match is that the Public Enemy have become goddamn obsessed with getting their titles back to the point they are interrupting the show and beating people up with baseball bats.
Yeah, they're so goddamn salty about those chairs.
They are literally, and now you're going to have them do heel shtick by just deciding to leave and forfeit the match?
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yep. Okay.
So obviously the ref starts to count them out, and that is what draws them back into the ring. And finally we get started.
Yeah, fucking finally. And okay, so Mikey Whipwreck is the first combatant from the face side, and immediately Styles buries him a little for being like, why'd you start the match with Whipwreck? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Whipwreck's just fine, thank you.
It's understanding that Mikey Whipwreck is pretty pathetic and is probably gonna get his ass beat.
But he's been getting better. Like, he's been shown to be able to put up a fight. Maybe if you guys weren't all such dicks to him, he'd have enough self-confidence to, like, believe in himself and actually get more spots in. Jesus.
Very possibly. So, but it does start with a lot of 2-on-1 on Whipwreck.
Yeah, which is bullshit.
Cactus Jack tries to use Mikey Whipwreck as a weapon to knock out the Public Enemy and then also knock out Whipwreck, but Whipwreck doesn't get knocked out by that.
Yeah.
All right. To be clear about the rules that I think I didn't is that the bat has to be in play to pin a guy.
Okay.
You don't have to be the one to get the bats to win the match. Somebody just has to have the bats.
It's like a goddamn Smash Bros weapon, apparently. It's a fucking Smash Ball where, like, once it enters in, it's anyone's game, even if you didn't trigger its entrance. Mm-hmm. Sure.
And, like, that makes it less dumb than I thought it was, but it's still dumb that it requires more work to get the bat than it does to pin a guy.
Yes.
Because you knock them down for 10 and then you pin them for 3. That is illogical. It should be, if anything, the other way around.
Why? What is this fucking God, this match type is so dumb. Like, I get what they're trying to go for now that we understand the rules a little bit better, of like having to earn the thing which shall win you the match TM. However, the work that you have, like, the gatekeeping is so dumb and flimsy and random and doesn't account for, like, something that you very wisely brought up while we were watching. Why doesn't someone who's perfectly fine just kind of, like, lay the fuck down for a 10 count and then just have the match in play, but then still be fine enough to just be able to, like, dodge it and maybe try to grab it for themselves.
Right, like you're not gonna get the bats from that, but like it's a no DQ match. It's the bat. It's not like the bat is gonna be the game breaker here.
Yeah, no, like it's so what? Yeah, it's like you need to like unlock the key to open the door of winning the match, but at what cost? It's just so tedious.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
There were a lot. I wrote down a lot of notes here because of moves I assumed was going to get the 10 count, and then they don't.
Yeah, there were like 2 or 3 9 counts here. It was nuts.
Public Enemy hits Mikey Whipwreck with one of their the drive-by combo, which is where Johnny Grunge hits a reverse DDT, and then Rocco Rock hits him with a top rope senton. So Mikey gets up from that. Or no, Mikey doesn't get up from that. Cactus Jack runs in with a fucking steel chair, brains both the Public Enemy, and then picks Jack back up. And then picks Mikey Whipwreck up.
Yeah.
But
so
Jack hits, just whooping people with a chair, hits a DDT on Rocco Rock with a chair, onto the chair that gets a 9 count. Then he hits both the Public Enemy with a DDT, also onto a chair for also a 9 count.
Yeah, I appreciate you trying to do. That's the other thing about this. They clearly want to do like near fall spots. Those are the goddamn 10 counts. So again, it's way more tedious.
Mm-hmm. But the chair related nonsense does get Johnny Grunge blades, and he's busted open. And when he gets up, he chalks. He throws powder in Cactus Jack's face to blind him.
Yep.
And so now it's 2-on-1 on Whipwreck, but Whipwreck, he's got the comeback fire. He's going back and forth on these guys. And then the Public Enemy, remember, they're fighting Mikey Whipwreck. And they throw Mikey Whipwreck into Cactus Jack, and Cactus Jack DDTs Mikey Whipwreck while he's blinded. And that is what gets the 10 count.
Yeah. So it's like double shenanigans. Also bullshit that Cactus Jack can hit a DDT while blinded, but like while not knowing who the fuck he's grabbing. Come on, dude.
Mikey Whipwreck is so much smaller than both Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock. Why did you think that was someone?
I get the feeling, just kind of based on how we've described things, the Cactus Jack made us be trying to sabotage Whipwreck. In which case, what the fuck, Cactus Jack? Why is everyone so mean to this kid? Jesus.
Yeah. So Public Enemy gets the bats, and then they start going to town.
I will say, jumping back a little bit, there was a spot that I have to highlight because it was like Public Enemy gets Mikey Whipwreck like in the middle of the goddamn ring, and then Rocco goes to one of the corners and climbs up to the top rope. And you said, I don't believe Rocco Rock can jump that far. And this man proceeds to fucking like Swanton bomb or some shit from top rope of the corner all the goddamn way to the middle of the ring and hits it perfectly.
Yeah, that was the drive-by.
Yeah, no, but like the distance he got on that was nuts, and you're like, oh, he's never going to make that drive-by meme, and then he makes it and you spit out your cereal. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I got a cop to that one. I misjudged Rocco Rock.
That was good. No, it was dope. It was funny that you were like, I don't think he's ever gonna hit that. But yeah, Mikey does fire back, and again, please stop treating him like a pathetic child. But then Cactus hits the DDT and 10 count. Waka Waka, the bats in play.
Now the real match can begin.
Bullshit.
Public Enemy, Grunge and Jack end up brawling all the way to the locker room. Meanwhile, Rocco Rock and Mikey Whipwreck, they brawl up to the stage area where Joey Styles sits.
Yes. And once they're up to the stage area and kind of getting to the more elevated platforms for like the viewers and the like whatever overhead shit they got behind them.
Yeah.
Someone
Rocco
in the
Rock
crowd
tempts my fucking rule.
Yup.
He grabs some wooden tables and stacks them up to put Whipwreck
Uh-oh.
through him.
He doesn't just grab one table. He grabs like 4 of them. Oh man. Austin's first rule is getting real antsy now.
Yeah.
Someone in the crowd yells, "Mikey, you could have been a contender."
Homie quoting Rocky at us
I
out here.
Dude, this crowd was the saving goddamn grace of this show. They had enough like good fun bits that I was like, all right, you guys are pretty all right. I can get down with you, even if the rest of the show's kind of shit.
Yeah, so Rocco rolls Whipwreck onto the tables, and he gets up to like a balcony area above the stage, and he's gonna jump off. And then Sabu comes out of fucking nowhere
for some reason.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's interfering on this, but he
know.
comes to stop Rocco Rock, and then fucking Paul E. Dangerously and 911 come out to stop Sabu.
Yeah,
so
why?
911 very loosely tries to hold back Sabu, but fails somehow. And Sabu breaks free just enough to like push Rocco Rock off the balcony. And the camera, by the way, misses entirely what happens here. Rocco Rock, by this point in time, Mikey Whipwreck has rolled off the tables. So Rocco Rock goes through the tables himself from getting pushed over by Sabu, except Sabu pushed him too far, and Rocco Rock just barely hit one table. He almost cracked his fucking head on them.
Yeah, the botch. Yeah, it could have been Sabu crippling someone tonight, but oh no. Yeah, no. This shit gets weird for why the hell is every single match here messy endings? Like nothing has really ended
because
super
that
clean
is
here.
Extreme.
It's extremely annoying when you don't have any other like good storytelling to back it the fuck up. God.
Yeah, so Mikey Whipwreck grabs a chair and just starts blasting.
Rocco Rock.
Including at one point, he manages to he pushes Rocco Rock through a table and the table breaks, or maybe it was already broken, but like Rocco Rock falls through the shards of table and Whipwreck just keeps beating him with his chair until Johnny Grunge runs back in with a bat to hit Whipwreck, and then Cactus Jack runs in and like spears Grunge into the wall and taking him out of it. And then by this point, and then Cactus Jack takes Rocco Rock and kind of lightly suplexes him onto another table sitting over by where Styles is. And then Cactus Jack climbs up the balcony and does his fucking elbow drop through the table to put Rocco Rock down. Thankfully, the camera caught this one perfectly.
Yeah, that was a dope spot.
Yeah, Rocco Rock has went through like 3 tables.
And
he's the only person
in this.
He's the only person in this match going through tables.
Yes, he is a very dead boy by the time this is all done.
Yeah, so everyone brawls their way back to the ring, and I forget how they take Cactus Jack out of the equation, but they do. And Johnny Grunge is in the ring with Mikey Whipwreck, and he has like a flying forearm off the top rope, but with a bat in his hand to hit Whipwreck in the face. And the Public Enemy pin him 1, 2, 3. The Public Enemy are tag team champions again.
Yeah. Happy for them, I guess. They finally got their revenge, TM. God, this was probably like the coolest of the matches of the night, just based on everything that was going on. But God, it was so tedious and confusing, and the camera work did no fucking favors. You said earlier that like, it stopped being good camera work at one point. I just say there was no good camera work in this thing. It was just what was convenient for the camera to pick up. Sometimes it was what we needed to see. Sometimes it very much was not.
Yeah, so I will just quickly say is that Whipwreck, Cactus Jack tries to call for medical to help out, but then Whipwreck just kind of gets up.
Yeah.
And so he has to get carried out by Jack, but he does leave.
EMS is having a hell of a night
over
here, let me tell you.
Yeah, and then we talked about Sabu Benoit already. So, honestly, like, This has been an arc I've actually really enjoyed overall.
Yeah.
Like the week-to-week TV of ECW, as much as it's too much recaps, is actually kind of been fun.
Yeah, it's been goofy and overwrought, and clearly it's still ECW in its infancy and a lot of kinks to work out. But you can tell there's something there, and some of the core storytelling has been really fun.
Yeah, and November to Remember, well, I'll remember this all right as being a pretty bad show.
This was not a good show at all.
I wanted to have more positive things to say.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really. The matches were mostly kind of blah. A lot of one-sided, boring matches here.
Mm-hmm.
The story beats are confusing half the time.
Yeah, and just even when you can kind of get a grip on what's going on, they're either overwrought or kind of stupidly written, not terribly compelling, etc., etc. Nothing is kind of like really systemically good on this show, unfortunately.
We've talked enough about how the production is really bad, and I want to emphasize that at least for me, I am absolutely terrible at talking about production. It's a thing I don't largely understand, so I don't comment on it very much compared to narrative stuff. So when I'm telling you that I noticed how fucking bad this production was,
anyone
I'm telling
could
you
notice
it was rough.
It's egregious. It's awkward. The technical specs are not there. It's rough. It feels amateurish a lot of the time. There's no sense of pacing, no real like editing or anything, even though this didn't seem like it was a live telecast at all.
Yeah, I don't think that it doesn't feel like they edited shit.
Yeah, they could have edited things down.
Except to do like the burp when it's time to move on to a different match. But even then, they clearly linger on stuff a lot to kind of simulate the general feel of having been there live.
And of all the things, the brrr, like between matches looks like a goddamn mistake of the VHS. Like it doesn't look like
it looks like the VHS broke.
Yeah. So it just this was not a well put together pay-per-view from a technical standpoint or a storytelling standpoint, and a lot of the work, sometimes at fault of the wrestlers, sometimes very much not, just because like the match structure or whatever was iffy. This was not a God, what a disappointing way to end this all out. Because I've enjoyed this arc so much overall.
Oh, we're not done with this arc.
We're not? Okay, cool. You made it sound like we were, and I was like, oh, okay.
No, sorry. I was trying to talk up ECW in '94. I have enjoyed, for the most part, my time in watching ECW '94.
Yeah.
Clearly rough around the edges, and clearly not as good as ECW would be later.
Oh, yeah.
But like enjoyable. But holy shit, this show was bad. And like our central angle here, the Sandman Tommy Dreamer angle, as much as I enjoyed elements of the Sandman fake retirement arc, like Tommy Cairo deciding to be like, fuck Sandman actually.
True.
And the hilariously overwrought retirement videos that made it sound like he's fucking dead.
As wrestling companies are wont to do.
Overall, it's kind of a complete misfire from the work shoot you did last time, because it was a month of essentially nothing to get back to the exact same point as where you were at when the I Quit match happened.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a goddamn circle.
There's no character progression anywhere, because Sandman just goes back to being a dickhead. It was all a ruse. Tommy Dreamer being like having like a come to Jesus about how terrible how he cannot let go what he did, and how he is completely repentant over it. Who doesn't fucking matter, because it was all fucking fake.
Yeah, and then they don't do anything to be like, oh, I've changed so much as a person. Like, nope, he's just kind of like badass now, and that's super cool. Okay, whatever, bye.
Yeah, it all just goes in a circle and that is not inherently bad in the sense that a lot of wrestling stories end up going in circles, but you had something with the work shoot thing, and it's disappointing that you didn't really do anything with it.
Yep. Yeah, no. Kind of a letdown I guess we'll have to hope the cool off when we're back here next time is a little bit more compelling, because
Yeah,
man, I miss the simple baby promotion, kind of getting to tell a kind of cool building up origin story of a new hero.
yeah,
Because this was not that. This was just dumb.
yeah. So I wish I had like a thing I could really hype up and say that like at least watch this from November to Remember '94,
Mhm.
and I don't really think I have anything that worthwhile going out of your way to see.
No, not really.
Now, uh, so that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of episodes now in a row that don't end on a great note.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well.
next time, I feel God, if next time ends on a bad note, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it.
Oh no.
Because next time on the Noobs and Knockouts podcast, we do another special episode
Yes.
next week
Yes.
I will be in Detroit, Michigan, along with David, and we will be going to AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts.
Guts. Yes. You guys are in for such a treat next week. This is gonna be our most special episode yet. Not only are we there for AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts, we get the full live AEW experience. We get a Dark Elevation taping. We get fucking Blood and Guts. We get a Rampage taping after that. And not only is it going to be Austin and me, since it's a live show, of course, Daniel's back, Kyle's back, Robbie's back, and a brand new guest you guys have never seen before, the brand new roommate and now newest addition to the kind of Noobs and Knockouts crew, Dom, is joining us. A special, super special fucking, what was that? 1, 2,
That's 6
3,
people.
4,
God,
5,
this is going to be
6
overdone.
person, a 6 goddamn person Noobs and Knockouts episode, 4-hour live event of the company that we watch week to week. This is going to be the coolest shit ever, you guys.
Yeah. Oh God, hope it's not as stressful sounding as it already feels like it's gonna be.
It'll be my boy. You know, my boys are good. They're chill. You tell them to do something, they'll do it. It's gonna be a good time. Will it be a little chaotic? Sure, but also that's kind of when our show gets the most fun.
I suppose so. So then that is for next time. Until then, David, hit our plugs.
Yes, sir. My friends, dear friends, thank you all so much for joining us once again on another episode of the Noobs and Knockouts podcast. Hey, veterans of the show, you know the drill. Thank you so much for once again welcoming us back into your eardrums, your eyeballs, whatever it is you use to consume our content. We hope you've had a great time once again. Thanks for it all. You know how this goes. Brand new people, hey, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for checking us out. We here at the Noobs and Knockouts podcast like to think we are friendly to both noobs and knockouts alike. So whether you're brand new to the wrestling fandom on a whole, or you're a veteran of this wild, wacky world, we hope you feel welcome here. We hope you had a great time here. If you would like to keep having a great time with us and you're not entirely sure how to do so, not to worry, my friends, I have you covered. First of all, you can find us on YouTube. We are the Noobs and Knockouts podcast on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Ring that bell and make sure it turns a nice little solid color so you get notifications every single time we drop a brand new episode. Give us that sweet like, comment, whatever, engagement. And super cool, check out our playlist. Austin has been kind enough to organize every single arc, storyline, etc. that we follow into its own separate playlist. So if there's a specific thing you want to follow all the way down, you can do that without having to skip around too much. It's super cool. And you can see our beautiful, lovely faces and our awesome, pretty HUD and all of the little secret visual gags we hide in here for all the people who deign to use their eyeballs to check us out as well as their ears. But, of course, we have our audio-only experience as well. For those who want to just listen to us, you can find us on Spotify, on Google, on Apple Podcasts, 3 of the best places to find your podcast. Check us out there. Give us that old review, a nice little good review, that 5-star rating if you'd be so inclined. Download us and just generally let people in the algorithm know these guys are pretty cool. Maybe more people should check them out. I don't know. I'm just saying. So, That's for consuming our content. If you want to kind of get in contact with us, there are 3 main ways to do so. First of all, you can find us on our Twitter. We are at Noobs and Knox Pod on Twitter. That's at Noobs, the letter N, Knox Pod on Twitter. Come check us out there. It's good. It's a good time. Memes, discourse. We post every single time we drop a brand new episode, so you guys know what the hell is going on. And of course, the highlight of the Twitter, weekly wrestling live tweeting. My friend, what is on the dock coming up?
Of course. So, as usual, every Wednesday night, except for, I guess,
next week.
we're gonna be a little busy. Yeah. Normally, though, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS is AEW Dynamite. We both watch. At least one of us is usually live tweeting it every single week. In addition, I keep up with WWE, AEW, and Impact Wrestling pay-per-views. Upcoming on that is for AEW, we have their crossover show with New Japan Pro Wrestling, The Forbidden Door.
Indeed, that should be going up probably the day we post this episode. Absolutely.
On the pre-show, Max Caster and the Gun Club, or as the better name, the Ass Boys. Scissor me, Daddy Ass. Versus Yuya Uemura, Alex Coughlin, the DKC, and Kevin Knight in this is the opening match of a New Japan show match in existence. Outside of that, we have Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Championship, the ace of New Japan against arguably the ace of AEW. True. For the interim title until CM Punk gets back from injury. A 4-way match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Jay White, the Switchblade, the Knife Pervert, versus Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, the man who is actually a babyface, despite how much that name doesn't sound like a babyface name. The anxious millennial cowboy, Hangman Adam Page. And the world's greatest ineffective simp, Adam Cole, baby.
Oh, good shit.
And another 4-way match for the AEW, for the new AEW All Atlantic Championship. Please do not put in the comments about how so-and-so competitor is not actually from this side of the Atlantic. I don't care. It is Pac, the bastard, Miro, who is going to redeem all you motherfuckers and kill God. Malachi Black, who is in a cult.
He just is a cult. Malachi Black is a cult. Yes, that's how that works.
Yes, you're right. And Clark Connors, who dresses like he's Crocodile Dundee or something.
Sure, why not?
Then in a 6-man tag match, the Sex Gods, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki, who is definitely not a sex god. Well, he doesn't call himself one.
I think he's a sex god.
Versus Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. That should be a nice hard-hitting match. An IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match. Will Ospreay, one of the best wrestlers in the world, leader of the United Empire, versus Orange Cassidy, one of the laziest wrestlers in the world today.
True.
In a 3-way winner-takes-all tag match for both the Ring of Honor Tag Championships and the IWGP Tag Championships, you got FTR, the Ring of Honor champions, the Great Okan, who has a Mongolian gimmick, and Jeff Cobb as the United Empire, versus Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero. That's going to be a very fun match. For the AEW Women's World Championship, it is Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm going to go at it. New Japan doesn't have a women's division, but it is nice to see 2 former Stardom two former Joshi wrestlers who have worked Joshi before, getting to have this match in the best implementation of it you can. An 8-man tag team match between the Bullet Club, El Phantasmo, Hikuleu, and the Young Bucks versus the dudes with attitudes. That's Darby Allin and Sting, face painty boys with attitude. They could be Power Rangers with their kind of attitude.
Paint daddy and face paint son.
Yep, and Shingo Takagi and Hiromu Takahashi of Los Ingobernables hop on, tag teaming together in an 8-man tag match. And then Zack Sabre Jr., one of the best technical wrestlers in the planet today, is going to face a mystery debut. Who knows who that could be?
The newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club, too.
And yep. So then that is it for AEW. For WWE, they have on July 2nd, it will be Money in the Bank.
MITB.
Yep. Right. The matches so far is Bianca Belair, the EST. She is strong as fuck, taking on Carmella for the Raw Women's Championship. She is hot as fuck. Unfortunately, Rhea Ripley is injured, so that had to be changed.
So many goddamn injuries this summer.
It is insane how many wrestlers are injured right now. The Money in the Bank match for the Men's World Championship and the Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey versus Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship, a match I don't really care about, except Natalya has roasted the fuck out of Ronda Rousey on Twitter.
On Twitter, I know.
I'm having fun with that.
I saw that. That was so fucking dope.
Yeah. The Usos versus the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Team titles, and Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley for the US title. So a lot of good matches there. Should be a fun show. And then upcoming for Impact Wrestling, their next pay-per-view is Bound for Glory. That is happening probably sometime in October. It's so far out, they haven't even announced a date yet. But we will keep you up to date on that one as it happens. But that is what is coming up for our Twitter.
Yeah, be sure to check all that out. It's a great time on the Twitter. If you like listening to us ramble on this show, I mean, it's pretty much that over on the Twitter. Austin's and my voices carry over pretty well, I think, to what the hell we have to tweet. And, you know, I like to think we're both pretty fun company for wrestling. So check us out there at Noobs and Knockouts Pod on Twitter. Of course, there is also our email address for super direct contact with us, more long-form contact. That's noobsandknockoutspod@gmail.com. Noobs, the word and this time, knockoutspod@gmail.com. Come say hi to us there. Tell us just what you like about the show, what you don't like, things you want to see more of, less of, requests for any specific kind of content you want to see on the show, wrestling media, companies, eras, storylines, etc., etc. Start Discord with us, yell at us for our hot takes, or tell them how base we are. Just generally tell us that our sweet dulcet tones lull you to sleep every night. Whatever it is, we love people saying hi. We would love to say hi back. Come check us out, noobsandknockoutspod@gmail.com. Then, of course, finally, there is our Patreon. We are also the Noobs and Knockouts podcast on Patreon. $1 a month gets you early access to episodes and a shout-out at the end of each episode. Shout-out to our $1 patron, the Sugar Daddy Kyle Smith, for supporting us, as always. Enjoy your perks, buddy. If you want to hop on those perks with Kyle, come check us out, Noobs and Knockouts podcast on patreon.com.
See y'all next time.
Hasta luego.